This is how I create my deciduous bonsai, especially hawthorn, blackthorn and beech. My approach relies on two techniques, cut and grow and wiring. Each one has its strengths, and when you combine them, the results can be remarkable. Let's begin with cut and grow. The idea is simple. You allow a branch to extend and thicken, then you cut it back to a lower bud. The new shoot that emerges will always be thinner. That gives us taper. And it gives us a chance to change the direction. Over time, as you repeat the process, you end up with a branch that looks natural, thick at the base, gradually finer towards the tip. And with that movement, it becomes and feels organic. This is exactly what we want in deciduous trees, because unlike conifers, they don't usually have wild twists or dramatic curves. They have gentle bends, subtle sweeps, and structure that feels believable. And there's another reason. Cut and grow works so well on deciduous bonsai. They heal. Species like hawthorn and blackthorn callus quickly. Beech takes a little longer, but still closes wounds over time. This means that we can cut quite hard when needed, and the tree will recover. Repeated pruning also brings back budding. Instead of all the growth pushing away at the tips, new shoots appear further back along the branches. And that's how we build ramification. Layer after layer of finer branches, eventually forming that delicate, twiggy network we admire in winter silhouettes. Now let's turn to wiring. Wiring gives us something cut and grow cannot. It gives us precision and speed. With wiring, we're not waiting for the tree to produce a bud in just the right place. We can take a branch, one that we already have, and bend it exactly where we want it. This is invaluable when we're building the main framework of a tree. Young deciduous shoots are soft and flexible. Wire them early and they'll hold their shape in a single season. You can lower a branch to create a layered canopy. You can angle a shoot into a gap, or simply bring more balance to the design. Wiring also helps with light and air. By spreading branches apart, you open up the structure. Light reaches the inner buds. Growth becomes even across the tree, and in turn feeds back into a better ramification. So why use both? Well, because each one covers the weakness of the other. Cut and grow gives us taper, healing, and a very natural flow of movement, but it can be slow, and it doesn't always give us the branches in the right place. Wiring gives us placement and accuracy and speed. But if we rely on wiring alone, we can end up with branches that look forced. And with thickness that doesn't taper properly. Together they work in harmony. Cut and grow builds the natural structure. Wiring fine-tunes the design. The balance between the two is what creates a tree that feels both natural and intentional. Think of it this way. Cut and grow builds the bones. Wiring sets the image. Let me give you an example. Take this hawthorn. I might allow a sacrifice branch to extend for a season. That thickens the base. Then cut it back hard in spring, just beyond a bud that points where I want growth. A new shoot comes out. I wire that shoot when it's red and soft. I set it at an angle I want, And at the end of the year, I have taper and movement placement all in one cycle. Blackthorn works much the same way, but with blackthorn you have to respect the thorns themselves, to my cost. When wiring, you often need to trim them back or use extra care so the wiring sits firmly. The benefit though is that blackthorn responds strongly to cutting. It backbuds very well, so you can create dense ramification with patience. Beech is slightly different. Beech buds are arranged alternatively, not opposite. So when you cut back, you often get growth in one direction rather than a neat fork. That's where wiring becomes especially useful. You can take those one-sided shoots, reposition them, and fill gaps. Over years, this builds a layered, elegant branching we expect in beech bonsai. So whether it's hawthorn, blackthorn, beech, the principle is the same. Grow, cut, wire, refine. The season after season. Each step adds structure, balance and detail. The combination is what I rely on. It's not the only way, but for me it's the most effective way to create deciduous bonsai with both natural character and artistic direction. Cut and grow, wiring, bones and design, nature and control, that's the balance, and that's how I build my trees. It's different, of course, with pines and junipers. You absolutely have to wire, certainly if you're working with Yamadori. As you can see here, if it wasn't for the wire on this branch, it would certainly have no shape whatsoever. So in the early stages of creating this pine, there's a substantial amount of wire being used, and bandage as well to stop the bark from cracking. In a rather unusual approach to this blackthorn, it was absolutely crucial to use wire to create a weeping style. So wire here has been used in a really extreme form to create a totally different appreciation of the style. I mean, if we actually look at what we would consider a traditional styling of a prunus tree, is what you have here with another blackthorn. And this has nearly 95% of it has been using cut and grow. And as you can see, it's got a more wild appearance. If you look in here, you can see actually the cut and grow. So again, it depends on what you're out to achieve. And I think that using both techniques, particularly with deciduous, you'll get the best results. Again, looking at pines, absolutely crucial that you wire to position the branches exactly where you want them. As you can see here, still in development, this pine tree. But without wire, this would look nothing like the shape that it's in now.